Hi, good morning everyone. I hope you had a good weekend. We were talking in SLT this morning about what we'd been doing over the weekend, and no surprise, walking was a bit of a feature. I was saying that by the end of yesterday I was exhausted. I'd had 3 walks catching up with different friends, pretty cold by the end of the day, and 22,000 steps later, looking forward to the time when we can meet up with people inside again. But anyway, whatever you were doing over the weekend, I hope it was a good one. Thank you to those of you who posted your odd socks pictures last week. Not too late to do that. It's anti-bullying month, not, I know the national focus was for the week, but obviously it's something that it's important all year round, but this is the month that it is being highlighted. And just on that kind of tack, Mike from our music department shared with me a lovely story. He was telling me, I just need to double check the name of a colleague that used to work for us, a lady called Katie Baker, and she was a horn player from Canada, and she was known for wearing odd socks. And Mike composed a book of tunes for beginner brass players, and there's an illustration in that book with Katie in mind, and there's also the Odd Socks Sonata. So Mike, thank you for sharing those with me. I'll try and attach them to the email that this video goes out on, because it's a nice little bit of SFE history to tune into. So we had staff forum last week, and as ever we were talking about well-being, but I think we had a really good conversation about well-being and quite a lot of openness around the table, so thank you to staff forum for that. But one of the things that some of us were reflecting was that in many ways this latest lockdown feels harder than the last one, and I know that's not the same for everybody, but maybe it's that sense of it's still going on and on. There are still restrictions, even though they're not perhaps as significant as they were before, and certainly we can't see extended friends and family beyond bubbles and stuff in the way that we would want to be able to. But the conversation that followed was just how very easy it is within the SFE community to feel isolated, whatever job we're in. So we've got those of us who are working from home, and depending on whether you live with other people or not, you might not see a physical person in the day, so that's not easy. But also the fact that going into schools in this time, because you're not being encouraged or indeed not allowed to connect with other teachers, again, although it's very different, it's a very isolating experience. And I think we just were reminding each other in that staff forum meeting about the need to watch out for one another in this period, and just an encouragement really from the staff forum actually to all of us to, if we've got a gap in our day, even if it's just a few minutes, maybe to use that time to drop an email or a text message or WhatsApp, whatever, to a colleague that perhaps you've not seen for a while, we probably definitely haven't seen in person for a while, or not heard from in a while, and just to check in and say hello. And if you're lucky enough that just the way timetable or meetings have landed that you've got a bit of a longer gap, then why don't you arrange that virtual coffee with somebody, because that makes a huge difference to your own day, but also for the day of the person that you're connecting with. So I'll leave that with you, but that was definitely a challenge from staff forum for all of us to think about. The other thing I just wanted to highlight this morning is we've talked in the past about our 5-year strategy. We've given it a bit of a strapline, creating tomorrow today. And many of you will be thinking, well, we just need to be focused on the short term. And of course you know that there is so much work going on to make sure that the short term and the kind of year ahead is navigated as carefully as we can. But certainly from a leadership team, from a trustee's point of view, we need to have a bit of a kind of eye on both. So on one hand the short term, on the one hand looking at the longer term as well. So in the Know this week, I'm going to share a web link with you which just highlights the kind of key elements of that Strategy 2025. As I've said a few times before, this is not about kind of a straitjacket that means that we're stuck to a particular course of action over this next period, but really it's more like the kind of guideposts, signposts, whatever you want to call them, just to keep us on course for the next period, but also to keep us kind of focusing on that longer term and what we can be looking to achieve when the world perhaps becomes a little bit more normal with vaccines and such like. So I'll share the link on Wednesday, and then in the next 3 Monday videos I'm just going to share a little bit more about each of the kind of the sections in the web page that we'll share with you, just so that you get an understanding. But as I say, none of that detracts from the focus on the day today, and actually how we're managing that in SLT is once a month a subset of SLT is meeting. We've called it the Strategic Oversight Group, just to keep challenging ourselves to look at the longer term as well. But that will all make more sense when I share the link with you on Wednesday. So for now, I'll leave that there. Have a good start to the week, and I'll see you soon.